Well, good morning everyone. Happy Friday. I hope you are doing well this morning. I am starting off the day with a pretty intense headache. I woke up like that. I hate mornings where I wake up and my head is killing me. But that's where I'm at. It's not quite a migraine yet, but it's headed in that direction, and I'm about to go take some medicine to hopefully dull it down so it doesn't go that far. So there is that. I'm not having a progress check-in tomorrow. I've only worked out one day this week. I went into work on Tuesday to work more in my classroom and do out all of our checkoff list stuff. And I've not felt right this week. I don't know if it's coincidence going back to work in the building and that's what's doing it. I don't know. And with the injury, there were a lot of intense workouts that I just didn't feel comfortable putting my foot in the positions it would have to be for lunges and mountain climbers and things of that nature. So I'm going to restart my journey next week on week 4, do a redo of that so that I will actually have hopefully progress and whatnot. So I know my weight is up because I check in daily just to keep an eye on things. And it's steadily going up. I haven't figured out, well, I know part of it is because I ate pasta this week, which is not a typical thing, but it was already something I already had in my cabinets, not anything new. So I ate it with, of course, mayonnaise and cheese and stuff. I've had an unending appetite this week. Again, I don't know where that was coming from. So, and then without working out to help counterbalance it, it's what it is what it is. And then also finish off a bottle of wine this week, not all in one day, but a little bit every day. And I think that's also in, so it was a white wine, more sugar into my diet. But again, that was something I already had in my cabinets that I wanted to celebrate, the end of the year with. So it came and bit me in the butt again, but that's okay. Again, health journeys, that's what it is. It's not as going for me to be an ongoing life journey. It's never going to be, oh, I lost the weight and I'm done. That just doesn't ever happen. So it is a lifelong, and I'm trying to get into better eating habits. I will tell you, when I get my Freshly box today, that is the last box that I'm going to get from them. I'm just burned out of the same meals. This is like the 3rd or 4th box. It's pretty much the same meals. They haven't really altered or give any other options. And I'm just tired of eating the exact same thing week after week after week. I like the meals, but there's just not enough variety with it. So I was kind of disappointed in that aspect, but I talked about that in previous vlogs as well, that it just is very repetitive, the same type of meals. So I have, I think last night I subscribed to the Daily Harvest for breakfast, like smoothies and things like that. So that's what I'm starting out with. Then I think I can also add in, they have different categories, but that's for like the more breakfasty stuff is what I'm looking at for that service. I think I chose 9 items for that box. I think that'll come in on Wednesday. And then I'm trying out Home Chef. So if you've tried either one of those services, let me know down below what you thought of them. With the Home Chef, I'm doing the already prepared type thing, meals. All I have to do is heat it up. And there's another one that I'm trying off of it. It was like a sandwich type deal that I have to put, some time into, put it all together. But I don't mind doing that. I just don't want to have to do all the chopping and all of that. I mean, I have that in my kitchen. I have chopping boards, knives, and all that. It's just extremely time consuming, where it takes 30 minutes for some, people who cook all the time. It could take me 45 minutes to an hour to put together a meal, even following directions, because I suck at time management when it comes to cooking. So there's that, but I may try other options if I'm seeing this one aspect of Home Chef is just repetitive. Then I may try the other where you do more of the, the slicing and the cutting, because I did HelloFresh for a while. But again, it was just too much, too time consuming in the kitchen to cook everything up. So I know I eat better and I do better with weight loss journeys when I do cook. It's just having the energy. That is the biggest thing. Having the energy to be on your feet and doing that after being on your feet for, 10 plus hours at work, because you're teaching all day. you're running here in the building I'm in, I'm all over the building, and I get roughly anywhere from 15 to 25,000 steps a day or more when I'm at work. The only 2 months I have off is June and July. So outside in a normal world, But anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at with the food aspects. So get some reading goals. I would like to read at least 2 chapters today out of this. Again, if depending on my headache as to what I will get read. But this book, The Edge of Danger by Rhiannon Bird, this is a book for my Romanceopoly. This is the spring challenge where I had to find a book that had either a green cover or yellow in the cover. This actually had both. So that's how I met this challenge, because the other criteria you could choose from is like a farming type book. I don't have anything like that, but I did have this to meet the cover color scheme. So there is this one. This follows Sage Buchanan and Michael Quinn. This is dealing with, hey Romeo, they are protectors. So the Merrick is a protector of humanity and the world from these Casas demons that try to combat their old time like demons or gods like demon things that got banished from our world, and now they found a way back, and the Merricks are those that are protectors of the world. So she is actually one of the Merricks. She's coming into that power, and the Casas try to take them out before they come into their power. So they're hunting her at the moment, because I've read a couple of chapters earlier this week. So I've read chapters 1 and 2, so I'm starting on chapter 3. So I'd like to read chapter 3 and 4 today and continue on. I have until June 20th to finish this book to meet the challenge requirements for it. Only the seasonal challenges have a time date on it. The other challenges for the Romanceopoly, you just read them at your own pace. So this one I do need to get done to meet that criteria. So there is that reading goal. Alright, I don't have the cover on this one. I took it off. This is The Hunger by Alma Katsu. This is a historical horror book. So it took the historical event, the Donner Party, and gave it a kind of horror twist to it. I didn't really know much about it. I actually read up on it last night about what happened to the Donner Party and all of that, and it's actually following that pretty good. I am close to halfway through this book because I did start it earlier this week. I'm on page 172 in chapter 20. It's a fairly easy read. There is some icky things that have gone on. She does really well with description writing. She's a very descriptive writer, and I've been enjoying that. I don't know why I'm holding it up because there's not much to see on it, but this is the cover. I took off the dust jacket to read it. But anyway, so I'm continuing on. It's very interesting the way that perspective she has taken on it, giving all of the different migrants kind of a dark secret that is slowly coming out as they're encountering these hardships, and people are slowly now starting to turn on each other as the conditions are getting worse and worse. So I want to finish this out. I can't wait to do that. So it may be first week of June when I get it done. Again, I'm not rushing any of these books. These are all on my June TBR, even though my Romanceopoly, they don't actually get put on my TBR, but I know I'm reading them. But The Hunger was on my TBR for June. If you've not watched that one yet, I can link it up in the cards above for you to go check those out as well. And then The Lost Puzzler by Ilya Kless. I would like to start it. I haven't started this one at all. Again, this is a fantasy style dystopian book, and I think because I have a good mix of fantasy, horror, and romance in my TBR this go around, so I don't get tired of one genre over the other. So I want to start this one to see what goes on with it. Again, it's a fantasy / dystopian style writing. So give me a little break from like the more historical horror book that I'm reading as well. So I'd like to get a couple of chapters maybe read this weekend. Again, I'm not pushing myself because this technically is supposed to be for June. Fairly short chapters, about a little less than 2 pages a chapter, at least to start off with. So a couple of chapters today, I wouldn't be mind doing that. Again, not pushing it because this is a June book, but I want to give myself a little bit of a break. And I also have a Netgalley book. I finished one that I will try to link either my Goodreads review to it or the Netgalley review. It's the same one. I just copied and pasted to both sites. I just finished Kirsten Fay's Tempting the Dragon King. Pretty good book. I gave it a 4-star just because there were some writing issues, like words were not spelled, like instead of saying heart, it was heat. So again, I'm not sure if it was an autocorrect feature that just didn't, that corrected that, or what happened, or if the editors didn't catch things like that. But so there was misspelling words in the book, as well as connector words and sentences that were either left out or added to, that made some of the sentences very awkward. And if it was just 1 or 2 times throughout the book, it would be different, and I wouldn't adopt it a star. But it was quite frequent throughout, and it interrupted the flow of the story, which, you know, I'm having to stop and think, okay, what is the author really trying to say? Because it was so clunky with the sentence structure throughout the book. Overall, the book was really good. It was kind of an offshoot of the Demon Possession book that I've read previously by Kirsten Fay. I would like to read out both of these series, so I may need to look on Amazon and see if they have them either as a Kindle version or maybe even a physical copybook, because the stories are intriguing enough. I want to read them. I was just a little disappointed in the actual writing style and errors that were not caught when the editors went back to look over that. But overall, good stories, so I would like to maybe finish those out for that. So that is how Netgalley is going so far. I do have one other set of books. I thought it was only 1 story that I was reviewing, but apparently it's going to be 4. I think there are 4 stories. It's the Rebirth Saga by, if I can find, it doesn't tell me the author's name, of course not. But it's the Rebirth Saga, so there's the last Tears of the Phoenix, the last Memory of the Phoenix, the last Song of the Phoenix, and the last Rebirth of the Phoenix. So it is several books. I didn't realize that going in to the book, so that has been a challenge for that, but I'm hoping I can get into it, so I may read a little bit more on that one as well. That I'm struggling to get in. I think it's a YA fantasy style book. All the stories are like that. So I'm hoping, because I do like fantasy, I do like Phoenix, the idea of the Phoenix, so I'm hoping to enjoy that once I get into it. But I'm going to have to read them one at a time, and when I get them all read, then I can write the review on all of them. So that's going to be a little bit more challenging, and I didn't realize that going in, that if you do a saga, you're getting all of the books instead of just the one, and I didn't read, I guess, closely enough to realize all of them were going to be there. So those are my reading goals, to read, you know, a few chapters in each of my books. So that's 4 different ones that I'm working on that I'm interested in reading at this moment. The only other thing that I need to do today or tomorrow is to take Jester to get his allergy shot and to talk with the doctor about his incontinence issues going on. Like when he's sleeping, he'll go to the bathroom a little bit, doing that, and then he just randomly pees in the house, and he's a dog that never does that, and things like that. So I need to talk to the doctor if there's something we can do medically for him for that. And I don't know if it's tied to his weak back legs or not, if that's why he's not going out like he normally does. Because he's now just randomly going, when I do let him out on his electronic collar, he'll just pee in the garage or right outside the garage instead of going out into the yard like he used to do. So I don't know if it's his back legs that are bothering him, that he just doesn't have the strength, or it's pain. I'm not sure. So I'm going to talk to the doctor about those two new issues that are going on for that. So that's kind of update on him. He's about 14 and a half years old. He's a medium-sized dog, so that's pretty old for my guy here, and he's been an awesome dog. I love him to death, and it kills me to watch him get older and all of that. So that is his status, and my kitty cats, they are doing pretty good. They are mischievous. If you follow me on Twitter, you would might have seen my Nick's update, who was very territorial over random weird things, and then she can become the sweetest, cuddlingest kitty. You never know which personality she's going to get, but if I'm at my laptop trying to edit, then she becomes possessive over it, and she'll get, all stuffy up on it and then swipe at you. It's really bizarre what she does. She does that, and then if I'm, trying to go through mail, she'll do the same thing. She becomes possessive over mail. If I'm folding laundry, she'll become possessive over the laundry. It's weirdest stuff. I haven't figured it out. It's not like she doesn't own majority of the house. The cats kind of share everything. It's weird. I don't get it. So I need to work on that. I may try to work with clicker training, trying to get her to learn things to occupy her brain, and maybe she won't be as territorial. I'm not really sure. I've never tried to train kitty cats, so I may need to look into that. If you have any good video suggestions, leave those down below, how I can work on her and get her energy out. So if I try to play with them, then Jester, he interrupts it, and I don't want to put him outside because of the leg issues. So it's kind of a catch-22 right now with that. So I may try clicker training and doing different activities to stimulate her mind, to drain out that energy, so she doesn't swipe at me, because got some cuts going on from her very sharp claws. She used to let me trim her nails when she was younger. I can't do that anymore. She bites me or tries to scratch me with her back claws. But anyways, so that's what's going on so far today. It's going to be a chill day. I'm going to try to get rid of this headache and do some reading. I'll check back with you guys after a while. Well, good evening, everyone. I hope you have had a fantastic Friday. I'm going to get these words out tonight. I've had a really good day after that headache finally went away, after eating breakfast and taking the ibuprofen. And then I slept for a while longer this morning. The headache finally went away. Met most of my reading goals today, and also took my dog Jester to the vet. I had a Zoom meeting with my faculty at work, our last faculty meeting of the year. And then I filmed this look. I loved how it turned out. I was super excited that it turned out as well as it did, especially for the first time me doing it on camera. So then I spent majority of this night editing out that video. It took a long time to do everything, so I hope you guys will enjoy it when you guys see it, because you'll see that video before you see this vlog. So yeah, super excited about that. So let's get into my progress update. I did get my 2 chapters read. So that was chapters 3 and 4. So I left on chapter 5. Again, this book started out so much faster than the first book out of this either series or trilogy. So I know there's at least 3 books, but I think she might have written more. So I think it's a full series, not just a trilogy. But yeah, this one has started out so fast and right on into the action, because the first book was more of the setting up of it. So you go in kind of knowing what's going on. So I'm really enjoying Sage and Michael's adventure so far. Right now they are in this I don't like you stage. You can't tell me what to do, because Sage is very headstrong. So yeah, so it's going to be interesting. It's been years and years since I have read this book, so I have forgotten everything about it. So it's like I'm reading it for the first time again. So can't wait to continue on with that. I did make some progress in this one. Again, I didn't really set, I can't remember if I set a 1 or 2 chapter goal for this one, but I also said that this is actually a June book. It's here at the tail end of May. So if I got anything read, I was happy with it. So maybe tomorrow 1 or 2 chapters out of it. It's a slow start. It definitely is a dystopian fantasy style book. And it is a slow building so far. So it's going to take, I think, some time to get familiarized with the world and everything, how things are coming about. I don't know if there's any magic involved in this book, so we're just going to have to see as I get more read. So this is The Lost Puzzler. Okay, so that is my update on that book. And I do, with the last book, this is The Hunger. Again, this is about the Donner Party with a horror twist to it. No, I didn't read anything out of this one today. So I'm still on chapter 20. So I did not reach my goal for this book. Other things came up. Namely, I needed to get my dog Jester checked out. He is getting more arthritis in his back legs and back. So we think that's what's causing him to go to the bathroom in the house and in the garage because he can't exactly make it out. Either that or it's just incontinence where he's losing control of his bowels. And so got him right now on prednisone on a steroid to help him with his mobility. So we're hoping that if we can get him a little bit more mobile and more comfortable, that he's going to be wanting to go out, because he is a dog that feels awful when he goes in the house, because he never does that unless he's completely sick. So I know he feels terrible going in the house if I can't catch him in time to get him out. So I have felt bad, so his skin issues are still getting better. So hooray, that's been fighting the skin issue for about 4 years. And finally determined after, again, the skin scraping, that he had very resistant bacterial infections, 3 different types. So we're on the right meds now. His skin is clearing up. He's on his Cytopoint shot to help keep his itching down to a minimum so it doesn't flare back up. But since he's been on this new med for the skin issues that are clearing up, he's not itching like he was, so it's not in that cycle, repetitive cycle of almost healed up, but then starts scratching, irritates it, bacteria gets in it, and it starts all over. So he's not in that anymore, so that's awesome. He's getting healed. I'm hoping by the end of this summer, he's going to be 100% better with that. And we'll just have to work with the arthritis because he's 14 and a half years old. We're just trying to keep him as mobile and as happy and as comfortable on his latter years. That's the hardest thing, you know, watching him get older, because he's always been a spunky guy. All of my animals are rescue animals. Got him for the pound when he was around a year or just slightly 8 months to a year old. So he's had a really good life since we've had him, or since I've had him. Because me and my roommate, me and my bestie, we used to be roommates, and when we got him when we were still in college and whatnot. So now that she's married, you know, I took him on because I did adopt him. So he's my baby. And then my 2 cats are rescued. Romeo was a rescue from the same pound that I got Jester from. And then next, she is a Humane Society rescue from Douglasville, the pet store there that the Georgia Humane Society has, kind of like a little adoption thing there with the pet store. So all of my animals, they are adoptees. They're not from puppy mills or kitty mills or anything like that. So that is kind of my updates where I am. I'm just super excited that this eye look came out right. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy this new series that I'm testing out, giving it a test run. I'll try to do maybe a month's worth of these type of videos to see if they catch on. Because I don't want to do just one and and not do it again. It is time consuming, so I want to give it a month, a good solid month, to see the response and get that data. Just like with the vlogs, I wanted to give those a month to see if people really wanted to watch what I had to say. Again, I'm a very chill weekender, so it's not a lot of action-packed, but I still can talk about reading goals and stuff like that. But anyways, again, I hope you guys have had a fantastic Friday, and until my check-in tomorrow morning, I hope you guys have a great one. Good night. Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. Of course, my body decides to wake up at 5 o'clock this morning, so I'm a little bit kind of run down because I don't think I went to sleep until after 11, so roughly 6 hours of sleep. But I'm up and moving around and whatnot. Got all my fur babies all taken care of. So now I'm just kind of relaxing. Not a lot planned today, just chilling and reading. Got some work, some videos edited, so they'll be going on the channel soon and whatnot. So there is that. Not fully 100% awake, so I'm kind of rambly this morning. But let's get to some reading goals. Again, I would like to read at least 2 chapters from The Edge of Danger by Rhiannon Bird. So I'm currently on chapter 5, so I'd like to read 5 and 6 minimum today. Out of this book, I'm enjoying the read. I think reading a couple of chapters out of my books is helping me to focus and make sure I'm getting my reading done. But again, if a book really gets me interested in it, then I can definitely read more than that. But 2 chapters minimum, I'd like to see that done. I got to chapter 2 out of the Puzzler, so the Lost Puzzler, excuse me. So again, I would like to continue on, maybe reading chapter 2 and 3, maybe more, again, depending on where my interest lies later on as the day goes on. So just taking it easy, trying to absorb this new world. It is a fantasy dystopian style book. So yeah, just hoping to really get into the meat of it, because right now it's a slow build, learning the environment and the characters and the different statuses of each level within the society and that type of thing. Class distinctions, I guess you would say. So working on that, getting a couple chapters here or there read would be nice. The 3rd book, this is Hunger. Again, I've taken off the dust cover to be able to read it. I didn't get anything read out of it, so I may start with this one today. I'm on chapter 20, and it's kind of broken up in month sections. So I am kind of, what section am I in? So right now I'm in September, so I like to get all of September read and stop, or at least get to October. So I'd like to get this chunk read today, possibly. And it goes, once I get into it and start reading it, it goes fairly fast. They're starting to get into some major troubles. They have just, I think, crossed the Great Salt Lake Desert, I believe, is where they're at in their travels. Lost a lot of their oxen and their cattle and horses. They ran off because they were dying of thirst. So I believe that's where I'm at here. So yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. Again, it's taking... it's a historical event. The Donner Party was an actual event that took place where these immigrants were going across, or migrants going across the U.S. back in the 1800s. And they broke off of the Oregon Trail due to Hastings' book saying that this was a better route to take versus going the more traveled route. And it was a much harder route, took a lot longer. And now they're starting to get into the colder parts of the year. It hasn't quite turned yet, but it's coming. So yeah, it's going to get interesting in seeing how the author has put in some more horror events into what was already a rough situation. I didn't realize this was an actual real story. That's something that happened, but I did go back and read up on the Donner Party, and I can see how accurate she actually made the historical part of this fiction story come to life. So that part has been interesting to kind of give a background, because I went into it blind. I didn't know about that. So it was good to go back and kind of research into that a little bit to ground the story even more so into reality. So there is that one. So that's kind of my reading goals. Again, it's going to be kind of a chill day. I may try to work on another look, makeup look. This is my next lady, and she wants to mess with the tripod. Alright. Well, good evening, everyone. I hope you are having a great weekend so far. I'm going to call it early tonight, call it a day early tonight. Starting to get another headache. I'm not exactly sure what's going on or why that is going on, but it is. So I'm going to go on and head to where it's a little bit darker to help get the headache to go away. But I did want to do a check-in and let you know how my reading goals went today. This one, I read a few pages out of them, but not much. I couldn't really keep focused on this particular book today. So I was not trying to push it because as I was reading, I wasn't really paying attention, so I was forgetting and I had to go back and reread and all get that good stuff. So I'm going to put this down and maybe try again tomorrow and see how my mind is feeling on that. So my romance book didn't get as much done, as accomplished as I would like. So but I've got time, so I'm not really worried about that. This one I did read to chapter 4, so I think I read chapter 2 and chapter 3, so my 2 chapter goal I did make for this one. Being that I've read 3 chapters, I still don't know the main character's name. It is written in first person, and he's described or called the young scribe, but that's about all you have. Normally, even if it's written in first person in books that I've read in the past, someone at least says their name at least once. And that has not happened yet, so a little confused on that. Getting a little bit more information about the world. There was apparently some type of catastrophe that happened like 100 years prior to when this story takes place. And there's now all this stuff going on. It's just weird stuff that's going on at the moment. So the young scribe has been sent out into this very, sounds like, brutal world and to find this one woman and he's young adult. It doesn't really give him an age that I have seen yet, but he's not a kid. So that much I do know. So yeah, that's about all I have knowledge of so far. He does have these weird tattoos on his eyes. And his eyes are red. So that's kind of the descriptor that he had. He came across these tattoos or things that look like tattoos when he turned, I think it said 13, and they all of a sudden appear. So it has something to do with whatever went on, I think, in that 100-year catastrophe, and this is kind of the result. So we shall see what continues to go on in this book as I continue to read it. So, met my goal on that one. This book, I have read the section that I wanted to read. I have probably less than 100 pages or close to it, maybe 90, something like that, left to read, so just this little bit. I'm on page 282, I think, and there are 373 pages. So, almost finished with The Hunger. It's getting towards the end of their trials that they're going through. They are now snowbound, but in this cabin, one person was kicked out of the group, and now a whole family has been shunned as well. So most of the party is now at these 2 cabins and a lean-to. Again, they're segregating themselves amongst each other in their family groups and not pulling together and try to survive these elements. So, anxious to see how this goes. I may try to read a little bit more tonight in my bedroom where it's a little bit darker. Again, with this headache, I don't want to push it and make it worse. So I may or may not finish this tonight. We'll see. Because it is kind of early at the moment, but I do want to kind of make my way down that way. But that's kind of what's going on. Again, I hope you guys are having a great Saturday so far, and until I check in with you guys tomorrow morning, I hope you have a good one. Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday morning. I hope you guys are doing good this morning. I slept really good for the most part last night. The headache is still kind of hanging out, but it's not too bad yet. So there is that. Jester seems to be doing better since he's been on the prednisone for the arthritis in his back, legs, and area. So no more accidents so far in the house, so that is awesome news. So there's that one as well, so update on him. The cats are them normal cells. I'm trying to do training with Nix to help get her mind going the right way. She's very much food driven, so I'm hoping I can do some things like that with her, make her think things through. She does get frustrated really easy, but we're going to work with it. I'm just trying to interact with her, and hopefully that will help her stay out of some of her mischievous trouble that she likes to get in. So some updates on that. Romeo's still a love bug, so he's awesome. Okay. Let's see. This morning I'm going on for my walk with my bestie. I'm going to go for that 3-mile walk. My toe feels so much better. It's still a little sensitive. There's a tiny bit of redness left, but not too much. So that's healing up. I'm going to redo week 4 of my program because I only really got 1 day in. So I'm going to start back there for that part of my health journey. And then yesterday I set myself a calorie goal to make, and I've set it from 1,800 calories all the way up to 2,000, so within that range, and I just tried to stay in there. And that gives me a little bit of flexibility and being more mindful of what it is I'm eating. Not that what I'm having in the house now is not good for me. It's if you overeat any type of food, whether it's junk food or if it's better nutritious food, you're still going to gain weight because it's calories coming in. So I left myself that range of calories, and I also did food journaling on my phone in my notes app. Let me know down below of a good, easy, simple food tracker or food journal that's electronic that I can take anywhere and I'm not having to worry about a book and a pencil or a pen, something to write down. I think if it was on my phone, an app on my phone, then it'll be easier to plug in and still keep track. But that worked yesterday. I mean, it's not the most attractive thing in the world, but I guess it really doesn't need to as long as it's being effective. So I listed out all the food, breakfast, lunches, and dinners, and how many calories there were, any snacks I ate. And I'm just having to be super, super honest with myself. And I think I ended yesterday with 1,980 calories was my total, so I fit it in within that range. And the result this morning, as well as drinking water yesterday, still trying to stay away from soda. I did have one when I got my reward style meal that still fit in that calorie range. I did have a medium drink then, but it still averaged in and all of that. So I went down. I am now currently, so simply doing that and being conscious of that, I have dropped back down to 3.4 pounds. And a lot of that's probably water weight and getting rid of waste that hadn't been eliminated yet, but just that simple tracking is good. So from my original weight, so that's what I've gained back and then some, but from my starting weight, I will not have dropped that much. So that's 1.4 from my original starting weight, but from where I had gained to down to where I'm currently at, that would be a 3.4 pound drop. From my actual starting weight for my program, I dropped 1.4. So still a drop, still a good thing, so I'm happy about that. And that's simply 1 day of really watching what you're eating, tracking it, making it fit into your goal area, and water. And so I'm going to try to do this day by day, and hopefully by then I can get into a habit, and this is something I can sustain. Yes, it's a pain to track your food and your food intake, but it's for me because I gain weight so easily. I think it's going to be a necessity. And I know back early college, freshman year, we walked more, but me and my bestie, we also calorie counted everything. And I dropped a massive amount of weight then. And I thought it was so big in college, and I was not. That's actually my goal weight, is to get back down closer to that, what I weighed then versus where I am now. I wish I could go back and talk to my younger self and say, hey, look, you are not. So, yeah, so I'm just still trying to concentrate on doing good food intake, having good quality food intake. I may need to find a mood journal or something, or create one that I like to track how the food makes me feel as well. So I don't think I could do that with that note app as well. or I may have to just sum up the day. I'm not exactly sure how I want to do that yet. So if you're into tracking and all of that type of thing, let me know down below some apps that you enjoy that are easy, user-friendly, pretty to look at, just aesthetic, and it makes you want to use the app. But the main thing is just simple ease of use. I know MyFitnessPal is somewhat easy, but it takes forever to do things on it. And that's why I don't like to use it. And it's not as accurate as, being able to look at, plug in, and do all that. Sometimes things are different in the app and all of that, but a simple journal that I can write in things and calculate and all of that. But yeah, so there is my health journey update. So we're going to hopefully get on board with that through this week, and hopefully going to have even better results next week. All right, so let's get into some reading goals for today. Finished this last night. I know I went to bed early, and I told you I was, wanted to be in a little bit darker of a room. So I read this, finished out it yesterday evening in bed. It was good. I felt so bad though because I wanted several people to make it out, and unfortunately they didn't. That part was super, super sad. I really enjoyed her writing on this Donner Party. I haven't ever really read historical fiction like this with a horror twist to it, elements added in. If you're not familiar with the Donner Party, it is, again, immigrants or migrants going from the East Coast to California. They started on the Oregon Trail, and they got down to Fort Brigger, I think it was, and tried to follow this guy Hastings' book saying his new trail was better. And so they all went down that, and it went worse from there because they didn't start the trip out very serious. They were just, it's going to be easy breezy. So they wasted a lot of time and a lot of food. They didn't really ration out. And then once they got into trouble following Hastings' route, the elements, the hardness, the dying of their oxen and cattle started happening. People started running out of food. They weren't taking care of one another. We're not going to help them. They should have, been more prepared. And those types of mentality was going on. And then a lot of hardships because they got into winter up in the mountains, and it got worse. And then cannibalism started happening. And then the horror twist that she brought in was a disease that caused people to become cannibalistic, and it was like, that's how it spread because it was a type of disease, is the form that she took it in. So it was good. I really did enjoy it. I'll probably talk a little bit more about it in a wrap up at the end of June. But yeah, I really, really did enjoy it. I may check out more books from her, but yeah, it was sad. It had one happy moment at the very end, but the rest was very sad. So it does hit your emotions, so if that's the type of book you're interested in, I would highly suggest it. But it is gruesome. So just be mindful going into that. This book I would like to finish up because I'm not very far in the chapter. I like to read at least chapters 5 and 6 out of this. I'm partway through 5, so 6, possibly maybe 7 as well. Because I didn't do well yesterday on a romance book for Romanceopoly. But I do want to do that for that goal. With the Lost Puzzler, I'd like to actually learn what the character's name is. That would be a great goal for me. It's not in the synopsis on the back, and in the first 3 chapters that I've read, it hasn't said his name. It is written in first person, but like I think I mentioned yesterday, I've read other first person points of view books, and one character will at least say the main character's name, and it hasn't yet. The only other I that's being used, the I pronoun, is he's called the Scriber, or Young Scriber. That's all so far. So hopefully we're going to get a name for him. So I ended on chapter 4 yesterday. So I'd like to read at least chapter 4 and 5. They're at the moment, I'm not going to jinx myself. At the moment, the chapters are fairly short, but they may get longer as I go. So at least chapter 4 and 5 minimum. If I get more read, that's awesome too. I want to pick back up with the Well of Ascension. Again, the Betty group that I'm in, that I joined, should be starting this at the 1st of June. Some people in the group have already read it. I'm about 5 chapters in, or I've read 4 chapters and I'm started chapter 5, I believe. And I've really enjoyed it. Yeah, so I'm starting at chapter 5 for this one. So I want to keep reading on it. Again, 1 or 2 chapters would be great. Again, it's starting in June. I'm reading it for the month of June, I believe, the whole month. So I have time to really absorb his writing, because you do need that time to fully grasp everything that he is writing about. So I've liked the start of it because it started off really quick, very fast paced, with already at least 1 or 2 battles already have happened with her, with Ben, and assassins that have been sent out to murder Eland. So yeah, so I can't wait to continue on with this journey. And then the new book that I want to read now that I finished The Hunger, this is for also my TBR project, The Lying Game by Ruth Ware. Again, this part doesn't say anything really about what's going on. It just talks about Reese Witherspoon's book club is one of their picks, and just blurbs from other writers, but it doesn't really say what the book is really about. So I'm going to read it and hopefully I will like it. I've not read any of Ruth Ware's books, so hopefully I will enjoy it. Again, I'm looking at reading, minimum 2 chapters if that's how this is set up. So like this doesn't really have chapters, but it's kind of broken up. So maybe 2-3 sections like that. I'm not really fond of books that don't have chapters. It just says rule 1 is like the start, and then it's in those little mini sections. So I'm having a feeling it's going to jump a lot of perspectives when doing setup like that, but I could be wrong. So at least a few sections like that, I will consider them chapters, even though it's not really labeled as chapters. We'll try it that way, and we'll see how that goes. So that's on this one. For that book, so that's 1, 2, so 4 books that I'm going to work on. Again, if one book really sucks me into the story plot or line or whatever, I'll continue reading on it. If I get more out of one than another, it's all good. So those are some minimum goals. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Sunday morning, like I said at the beginning of this video clip. So again, I hope you guys are going to have a great day, and until my next check-in, I hope you are having a great one. Well, good evening, everyone. I hope you are having a good Sunday evening. I'm calling it a wraps on this weekend's reading vlog. I'm trying a new technique with my kitty cat, Nix. Hopefully, giving her treats will allow me to do my filming without messing up the tripod and rubbing it against it. And got Romeo over there as well. Did you eat it? So anyway, hopefully I will get better and learn, and hopefully I can train her to leave it alone by using treats, because she's definitely motivated by that. So we shall see. Anywho, let's get into some of my books. Did I meet my goals and that sort of thing? This one I did finish out chapter 5. I didn't meet my entire goal. It's been kind of an odd reading day. Haven't been fully into it, but when I have a huge reading day the day before, I tend not to read as much the following day, so that's pretty typical. So I did manage to get some read out of this book. Alright, so I did start The Lying Game. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to enjoy reading this. We shall see. It starts off with her husband, her and her baby, and feeding them and that sort of thing, and now she's done a flashback to when they were girls and in school. It's kind of bizarre, so we'll see how it goes this week, but right now I'm not 100% invested in this book. So that's kind of where I'm at with this book. I did manage to read chapter 4. I still don't know the main character's name. He has gone down to what they call the pits and hiring someone to keep him safe while trying to find this one woman that's kind of where we're at right now. Very violent world. A lot of people augmentation has gone on. Don't really know how that has come about, but definitely a sci-fi, fantasy, dystopian style book for sure. So still, I'm leery about this book. I haven't gotten invested in him because I don't know their character's name, why he's going in on this search, on this quest. Really haven't a clue. So hopefully some of that will be revealed soon. Again, we're still building up the world. And then I have started reading just a few minutes ago, The Well of Ascension, Chapter 5. I'll probably finish out Chapter 5 laying down in my bedroom and calling it a night as a whole. So yeah, so I'm hoping to continue on with this and this adventure. It should go full swing in the start of June with the group read. So I can't wait to hear other people's thoughts and be able to talk about it with them as well. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this weekend's vlog. I've had a pretty good reading weekend, all things considered. Jester seems to be doing a little better. He's at least getting out. He hasn't had any accidents in his sleep or just being in the house since he's been on his new meds. So hopefully that is taking care of itself. Yeah, but I'm excited to continue reading on the books that I have. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. But yeah, I hope you guys, like I said, had a great weekend, and I hope you guys have a good week this upcoming week as we go. So anyways, I hope you guys have a good night, and I will check back in with you guys next weekend.